bill tracking service that a lot of nonprofits and different business entities buy into to keep track of things. But if you want to know what's going on with the legislature, they often catch it first. I think he got this one wrong, which isn't really his fault because the bill literally says this. But basically, one of the first bills, House Bill 3159 by Kevin West, would bar kids with head lice from attending school, but allow kids infected with a contagious disease to go on in. Because it literally strikes the language. Like, the current law says that if you have a contagious disease or head lice, you can't go to school and spread it. Anyway, West further down claims that that's not, like, that this is cleanup language and stuff like that, but it's really hard to believe that given, here. Actually, this is all existing language. It's under another title statute. I don't know. They should, I don't want to say a trigger warning, but they should put some sort of warning on this if it's cleanup language that you don't actually mean it, but it's like, the fact that we could totally see a Republican like filing a bill saying you can't send kids home for a contagious disease is just wild.
What about like tuberculosis?
Literally, say that again?
Like kids go to school if they have tuberculosis, but
yeah, TB, smallpox, whatever you got, just send them all.
Come on, come on.
This is where my money is going.
So anyway, so West claims that it is just a cleanup bill. We'll see. I mean, he could just be straight up lying on the webs, but hopefully that's the case. This one though is completely unambiguous. Sean Roberts has filed a bill that would require all Oklahoma voters to re-register to vote by the end of next year and provide a birth certificate and other info to be able to re-register to vote in state elections.
Holy shit.
So they don't want
this deal is nuts. I mean, so like first off, like kicking everyone off the rolls just right off the bat, you're just gonna wipe out like
federal elections only.
Hundreds of thousands of voters. I mean, like just the act of wiping everyone from the rolls and making them come back on, you would just lose. I mean, you would lose a ton of people just based on that.
Oh my god!
But like the fact that like they want you to like bring a birth certificate. I mean, you know, like some people like I was born in South Carolina. Like birth certificates are weirdly hard to get sometimes. I mean, people lose them. Like it's just.
I would like
wild.
I want to just say that based off some statistics and research that I did on voter suppression in 2020, I found out that about 25% of black people in this country don't have state-issued IDs. 25% of black people in this country don't have state-issued IDs. Then we look at the homeless populations. They, you know, who's to say they don't have the right to vote? Like, if you're homeless and you don't have anywhere to, if you're housing insecure and you don't have anywhere to keep your stuff, or your bag gets stolen and it has your ID in it, or if it has your birth certificate, like, what are you going to do? I don't have a damn birth certificate. What am I going to do? Like, this is
it also costs money to literally buy every piece of documents, like your state ID or your driver's license, to even get stuff. And that's like huge barrier right now, especially when like with Real ID compliance, everybody's got to be able to pull these other documents that you might not even have.
Yeah, I mean, and our state's been going through a crisis of like getting your license and Real ID and all that stuff. I mean, we've been struggling just to meet the demand of the current citizens we have, just to live their lives and do the normal shit they need to do. We haven't been doing a good job of it. Then you wipe everyone off the voter rolls and make them go reapply and get the. I mean, it is just the dumbest thing. In bonus news, though, this guy is term limited, and he wants to take this bullshit to the federal level because he's going to primary Frank Lucas. So keep an eye on that race. I mean, you know, usually you think these like incumbent congressmen are safe, but I wouldn't rule out some of these guys.
Like I feel like this is like birther 2022, like in a way.
On steroids. I mean, this is wild shit. I mean, this would have like massive impacts to tons of people. I mean,
All of the marginalized communities, like
Everybody.
literally.
And
I mean, even a ton of their own voters. I mean, you know, like if you're not clued into the state legislature, I mean, you wouldn't even know that you got booted, and then you'd show
Yeah,
up to
that's
vote,
true.
and you'd be like, what? Like, or you'd get something in the mail being like, you've been kicked off, you need to reapply. I mean, it'd piss off his own people a ton, because also it's inconvenient. But yeah, no, I mean,
and this
definitely.
is in
Yeah.
federal politics, it's so radically right that you have to be able to say that you did this stuff as a state legislator in order to like coalesce around the base that he's trying to get. You know, so for us, like, you know, shooting this down early is the best circumstance.
I was just about to ask, what is this bill number? Because I honestly did not know about this. And
Yeah,
now
no,
we're going
these
to
are
have
just
to
coming
do
out.
some shit. Like,
It is House Bill 3677 by Sean Roberts, and Roberts is a nutcase. I mean, he's like one of the super far right guys, but like truly a terrible bill. Here's one by Shane Jett, Senate Bill 1442. For those that need a recap on Shane Jett, he beat Ron Sharp, who was out like Shawnee area. Ron was a very reasonable pro-public ed guy. Shane Jett tried to run for Congress, didn't win. I think he might have served in the House before. I can't quite remember. But anyway, Shane's an insane person too. Like, just totally lost the thread. But he would bar public schools from using federal, state, or private funds to promote concepts of social emotional learning. Here is how the bill defines social emotional learning. Any evidence-based or non-evidence-based programming that promotes school and or civic engagement and or builds an equitable learning framework that creates or uses evidence-based benchmarks, standards, surveys, activities, learning indicators, programs, policies, basically, like, it's like the basic understanding of how to be a good educator. Yeah, you can't do any of that shit. Like,
well, that's why they want to just replace all of the educators. Like,
Trying to turn education into opinion based as opposed to fact based because we're scared of everyone's feelings, I guess.
yeah.
or we're so white and we're so fragile in our whiteness that we cannot handle the truth of what America has done historically to just about every fucking black or brown person or marginalized group, and now we don't want to talk about it.
I mean,
Are you kidding me?
Shane Jett is on the bleeding. I mean, this is like the hyper edge of the black hole of culture war shit. Like he is a colonizer of the culture war bullshit. Like, this is so far out. Like, they've now, somewhere in the bowels of the right wing movement, they have identified social emotional learning as like the new CR type. I mean, it's like an education concept that says that we should care about kids' brains and their hearts or something. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's something that a bunch of ivory tower liberals came up with to like understand teaching kids. And I mean, it's fine. Most of the stuff, like, I got the bill up on the screen if you want to read it. I mean, it's like, this stuff sound like it's like how to regulate your behavior, how to like be a decent person, how to be self-aware.
But I'm saying, like,
self-management. I mean, it's like we can't use any funding to teach any of this stuff. Like, what?
we can't teach you to be a decent human being.
No.
We already don't teach you how to pay bills or file taxes or any of those things. But now we can't teach you how to be a basic fucking human. Shane Jett, like, I want you to know I will help you find something productive to do with all that white fragility you have there. Like, call me, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, the snowflakery is strong with this guy. Yeah.
Jesus, you and your cauliflower coalition, the Elmer's Glue crew, give me a call and I'll let you know what's popping, because it ain't this.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, we gotta be a little careful with some of that, because apparently they banned streamers for saying the C word, and by that I mean the word.
I know what they mean. And
Not
the
the C word you
saltines
think.
need to quit being so salty. How about that? I'm not trying to destroy your
No.
opinions.
I just thought about it. I'm like, man, they literally banned Hassan for that. Like, we should.
I mean, Nick, here's a big thing though with him. A couple of years ago, this man also ran, I believe, like for CD5 for Congress,
His
and like,
billboard stayed up for like 2 years afterwards. It's
Right.
hilarious. Like, him and his family, like, vote for me. It's like, bro.
but he used to be like much more of a moderate
Yeah.
in terms of this, which ultimately at this, it's very dangerous to see all these folks just pivoting to this really ridiculous bullshit.
But but this is where it's going. I mean, like now CRT is spent, man. They've mined that thing for all it's worth. Now they gotta find something else to get people jazzed about, and now it's gonna be social media.
How did they create?
It's like that meme that's like how it started, how it's going. CRT is how it started. We are now at social emotional learning.
Frankly, I am just glad we live in a state that has no actual problems. Like that we live in a utopia where we all just live in harmony and
there's no racism at all here.
Ever.
None. White supremacy, what is that?
Ooh. While Stitt says McGirt every 5 seconds and tries to and would definitely attack the tribes if he could find a way to launch a. If he could figure out how to get the National Guard engaged in that, he would. Thanks for watching our video. Please give it a like and hit that subscribe button for more content. If you want to engage with us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram.